Hello everybody, my name is Ziave. Thank you for joining me here in my presentation. The topic that I've selected for this contemporary beliefs project is relational trust. Now what is relational trust? Relational trust refers to the interpersonal social exchanges that take place in a group setting. To dive in more about what relational trust is, this was a quote that I had found while I was working on the project. Relational trust is built on movements of the human heart such as empathy, commitment, compassion, patience, and the capacity to forgive. Now, how does relational trust work? Well, the first thing that we have to do is bid. And this isn't the bidding that we would normally think it is, like at an auction. As far as it goes in the Relationship Cures book, bidding is a gesture, look, and touch that positively or negatively answer to somebody's request for emotional connection. And there's three ways that we could deal with bidding. We could turn towards it, turn away, or turn against it. Furthermore, on how to make relational trust work, here are 5 steps right out of the Relationship Cures book. Number 1, analyze the way you bid and the way you respond to others' bid. 2, discover how your brain's emotional command systems affect your bidding process. 3, examine how your emotional heritage impacts your ability to connect with others and your style of bidding. 4, develop your emotional communication skills. 5, find shared meaning with others. Where does relational trust take place? While I was working on this project, and when I searched up relational trust, most of the time relational trust involved school between the staffs and the students. And I knew that, relational trust takes place elsewhere other than just school. There has to be other places where relational trust could take place at. One of those locations would be work. Home is also another place where relational trust can take place. And to me, most importantly, uh, with our significant other, because I I am huge on relationships, because of course I'm in one, and I just think that having a relational trust in your relationship is extremely important, because if you do not have that in your relationship, I, there's really no purpose of being together if that's the case. Following from my research and being able to link relational trust to my job on a daily basis, which I am a senior storekeeper at St. John's Hospital, these were the questions I came up with for my interviewees. In their own words, I wanted them to explain or define what relational trust is. Second, where and today do they see relational trust take place? 3, where and today do they see lack of relational trust or could improve on their relational trust? 4, how is relational trust established in school, work, and at home? 5, when did they realize the importance of having relational trust? 6, how do they build their relational trust with others? 7, what can they teach or share to others about relational trust? 8, is relational trust a feature that they can value? 9, what's challenging about relational trust? And last but not least, number 10, what's the strength to having relational trust? And I guess as you guys could see all of the questions here, while I guess you guys could take a look at them and see if they're questions that you could answer for yourself too. Because I assured that, I wanted to make sure that these were not only questions that others could answer, but I wanted to make sure that I myself could also answer them too if someone was interviewing me.
My first interview, these were the main ideas that I got from it. Relational trust is a relationship where you and another person know and trust each other, being able to remind each other and being the one person that the other can trust and open to. A common place where relational trust takes place is school. Students working and discussing about projects as classmates. And of course, there's more than that as students. Um, Organizing events as well, uh, after school clubs coming together, stuff like that to consider. There's and This interviewee believes that there's a lack of relational trust in politics, mainly because politicians only want to hear you out to get your approval. In order to build relational trust, you must be the first person to step up and giving a chance to others to establish their trust with you. So that's what he believes politicians can uh, can improve on, um, and just in general overall. Life situations where becoming best friends with an individual can be the moment where you realize the importance of having relational trust. Empathizing and understanding other people's frustrations is also another way to build your relational trust. The most challenging thing about relational trust is gaining the acceptance from another individual to be there for them. You can be as open as you want to an individual, but it all comes down to them if they'll accept you or not. Relational trust is something that should be valued, just because of the fact of being able to trust and be there for each other. The strength to having relational trust in the long run, if you keep it, if you keep establishing relational trust with individuals you meet, and later on when new individuals come around, you can develop a deeper relational trust than you did from before. Here are the main points from my second interview. Relational trust is about having honesty and being humbled with one another, because you can't have a relational trust without both. Home is where relational trust can take place. School as well, because students are assisted every day, and so are staffs, because staffs that cooperate together also guide each other. Social media and technology, such as emailing and texting, are two things that have a lack of relational trust today, and they can improve on their relational trust, because it is difficult to trust and know how one expresses themselves behind the screen. You don't know who they are or what their tone is like. Relational trust in school, work, and family is established with time, and with time comes trust. The more time you spend with each other and get to know each other, you get to learn about each other's life experiences and determine if either of you are worth each other's time and trust. One can realize the importance of having relational trust during a lifetime crisis, or a life crisis, I should say, such as being carless or in debt. If you don't have any sort or kind of relational trust with anyone or anybody, you can have a difficult time getting past your life crisis. To build relational trust, one must be honest and humble, but also blunt at the same time. Spending time with each other, communicating, learning from each other as well. That's one way you could build your relational trust. Not only should one be honest, but who to be honest with. In order to have relational trust, sharing must be involved. You can trust someone if they're willing to do the same for you or share with you, because that lets you know that they're humbled and genuine. What makes relational trust a challenge is not knowing who the person is, not knowing their story or their character. It can be very time consuming on a personal level and professional level if you don't know if you can trust them. Yeah. Relational trust can be valued because it is a great characteristic to have, and it helps you stay positive. The strength of having relational trust, having it makes life 10 times easier. Having it lets you know who's there or isn't there for you because it's a two-way street. If you scratch one's back, they'll scratch yours. If you don't scratch one's back, then they don't scratch yours. This is my third interview, which is also the last one, and these were the main points of the discussion that I had during the interview. Relational trust, it often involves school and includes students and staffs, impacting educational purposes such as the achievement gap. The community is one environment where relational trust can take place, either it be at a community center for families and visitors or an outside event. It can be involved in anything that brings people together. One place that can improve on relational trust is undeveloped countries. Because living here in the United States, we have tools that a lot of them don't, such as technology, the newly improved technology, I should say, and educational programs like ELL and PSEO. Relational trust is something that's established from the moment you're born and once you start growing up. It's established through communication with your caregivers, teachers, and other adults that's played a huge role in your life. Relational trust is built when you let others do their part, not your part because the world doesn't revolve around you. You must have an open mind, listen to other ideas besides yours, and have open communication through text, phone, email, and on social media. Most importantly, if you provide a welcoming atmosphere to others, then there is also the chance of deepening that relational trust as well. It should be kept in mind that relational trust is about exchanging, and if others aren't exchanging with you or vice versa, then that's what will make relational trust challenging. Relational trust should indeed be valued because we need it to further ourselves and build on each other. Nothing happens if we don't communicate and everyone's just going to keep to themselves. Valuing relational trust can give us new ideas and strategies. There's strength to having relational trust is speaking truth, but also having that respect and speaking truth and listening to others as well, because it's not all about you. Thank you for participating in my presentation. Here are my references. Once again, thank you very much.